Welcome back, everybody, to the channel. We're going to talk about emptiness. We're going to talk about specifically how consciousness is empty. So there's no sense of self, there's no thoughts, there's no objects, there's no forms, there's just nothingness, emptiness. And that's what you are. So what I'm going to discuss in this video is how to access that easily, how to access the emptiness of consciousness, and how to feel all the benefits that come with that. There are so many positive benefits that come with realizing that you are empty. It's the empty nature of consciousness. So enough with this intro. Let's get into why consciousness is empty and how to experience it. So right now, I want you to bring your attention to attention. I want you to bring your attention to awareness. You can do this with your eyes open or with your eyes closed. It doesn't matter. But I want you to just focus on consciousness. Take a moment, pay attention to consciousness, and notice how does it feel? How does consciousness feel? How does it feel to be consciousness right now? And it's not a physical sensation. It's not the body. The body is an object that consciousness is aware of, right? So I want you to pay attention to consciousness itself and focus in on that emptiness that you feel when you just become aware of yourself as consciousness. Notice that. Notice that spacious feeling. It's not a physical sensation. It's just like you're noticing the fabric of consciousness. And you're noticing that it's kind of like space. It's like an awake, aware space, right? So feel more into that. And at first it may feel almost neutral or calm or kind of like very peaceful, serene, just like silence almost. And that's at the low end of the spectrum. What I want to do is I want to get you to as close as I can to the upper end of that spectrum of experience. And I'll explain what I mean by that. So at the lower end of the spectrum of enjoying the natural state of consciousness, of awareness, it's going to feel peaceful, it's going to feel blissful, maybe a little blissful, but it's going to mainly feel kind of peaceful, kind of like no emotions, just rest, non-movement. And then at the other end of that spectrum, you have ecstasy and bliss, overwhelming bliss and ecstasy. You can move along that trajectory, that gap. You can move towards ecstasy or you can move towards peace. Now on the other side of this is all your other emotions that you have on a daily basis. So once you transcend the emotions you have on a daily basis, you will enter into, at the very least, the peaceful, calm, non-emotional state right here, which is at the very bottom of the bliss spectrum. We'll call it that. And so when you focus on emptiness, you'll start out here at the, most likely at the kind of like the empty, just calm, serene space of consciousness where nothing's happening. There's just spaciousness. Now, as you begin to rest in that spaciousness, what happens is over time, you start to find yourself drifting this way towards the blissful states of consciousness, blissful expressions of pure consciousness. But to begin with, you'll be arriving in the blankness, the calm, serene, peaceful emptiness. And it's very enjoyable. I don't want to paint the picture this is not enjoyable. This is extremely enjoyable. So you're focusing on consciousness itself, and you're noticing how it's kind of like an empty space, like a container for experience. I want you to notice how your experience is happening within the container of consciousness that you are. Just notice how my voice is arising inside of this consciousness right here. It's arising inside of you. I am arising in you right now. This video is appearing inside of your consciousness. What the heck does that mean for you? How do you use that to get to bliss? Well, you use that to deepen your realization that you are, number one, consciousness, and number two, you are not the objects that you are aware of, including the body. You are not your body. Your body is appearing to you. It's appearing inside of your awareness, right? If it was not appearing inside your awareness, you wouldn't even have an awareness of it, whatever it is. Pretty cool stuff. So all you have to do to enjoy all the benefits of emptiness is to simply rest in the empty nature of awareness or consciousness. And you can do this with your eyes closed or your eyes open. Your first time, you should try to do this with your eyes closed. And then as you get used to it, mastering it with your eyes closed, you can then take it into your everyday life with your eyes open. So, focusing on emptiness. What is it like to be consciousness without any contents? Ignore all the contents. Ignore any objects or sounds or voices or thoughts. And just focus on the consciousness itself. Like you're trying to discover and study this empty quality of consciousness. So you're taking your attention away from objects and you're going directly into the substance of consciousness itself, which is extremely relaxing to do. So make sure you don't fall asleep when you do this, unless you want to go to sleep, but you might find yourself feeling really relaxed and tired because you're dropping all your stress. Whenever you focus on consciousness directly, your stress levels just plummet. But anyway, that's just another benefit. Just keep resting deeper and deeper into consciousness, into yourself, with less and less assumptions about it. Like you're trying to discover the truth of yourself, of consciousness. And anytime you think that you have come to a conclusion about consciousness, realize that that's just a thought and that's not actually consciousness, and drop it. So, for instance, you might have a thought, oh, okay, this is how consciousness feels. It just feels like this exact sensation I'm feeling right now. Ah. Well, actually, it's not true. You're in that moment, you're no longer focused on consciousness, you're actually focused on the thought. So what you want to do is you want to drop that thought and return to resting in thoughtless consciousness. Wordless consciousness with no words. What is it like to be you without any words to describe it? That's a great way to get there real fast. What is it like to be you without any words or descriptions? Any mental description. Before any mental description, who are you? This will take you straight to your central self, which is emptiness. And when you really start to feel into the emptiness, you'll notice that the mind starts to dissolve. And this is when the bliss will start to kick in. Shortly after the mind starts to quiet, that's when you're going to notice the energy starts flowing, like more and more and more and more and more, until it turns into a cascade of bliss and joy. And it is so much fun to do that. You can get so high naturally that you won't care about anything in those moments. You won't need anything from the world. Your desires, your attachments will easily just fade out. They won't completely go away, but you just will lose the attachment to them actually coming to you getting what you want. It's good to have desires, but it's not good to need those desires to come about. It's not good to have an urgency to it. It's good to have desire. Desire is wonderful. It makes you alive. It makes you come alive. But if you desperately need that desire to come, now you're being tortured by your desire. So let go of the urgency, let go of the need for desire to come, and you will begin to feel naturally at peace at the very low end of the spectrum and ecstatic at the high end of the spectrum. That's how it works, guys. That's how it works. And one great way to do that is through meditation, where you focus on emptiness and you realize that you are made of nothing. You are nothing. You are nothingness that is aware. It's what you are. You're nothing. In a good way. You are nothing in a good way. I'm not saying that in a mean way. I'm not saying like, you're nothing. No. Technically, you're everything, because when you are nothing, you realize that you are everything. I can't really fully explain that in words, but when you experience it, you can leave a comment below and explain to me how that works. But so yeah, keep resting in this emptiness. And I'm going to share one more really cool technique to really take you deeper into the emptiness state. So don't leave the video yet. So chances are you've been resting in awareness. You've been resting in this spacious, calm, quiet consciousness, right? But maybe you keep drifting in and out. Maybe you have thoughts keep coming up, right? Maybe you keep losing that state. You go into a state, you lose it. Go into a state, you lose it. Go into a state, you lose it. Well, this special technique will allow you to stay in that state pretty much indefinitely. All you have to do is notice how this awareness continues to be aware. Notice how the emptiness is still there. The emptiness is still there. The space for the experience is still, it's still happening. It's still there. It still exists. Awareness still exists. Awareness still exists. Awareness still exists. You still are aware. You still are aware. You still are aware. And you notice the continuous nature of awareness. More so than you notice awareness itself. And the continuous nature of awareness and awareness itself are really the same thing. But focusing on it from this perspective will put you into kind of like a trance state that will allow you to remain ever presently aware. As long as you remind yourself, keep reminding yourself, I'm still aware, I'm still aware, I'm still aware. And you don't have to use the words, you can just notice the continuous nature of awareness. Continue to notice the continuous nature of awareness, and you'll be surprised how powerfully this takes you into a naturally altered state. It really can take you very deep. And if you do this for a long enough period of time with your eyes closed, eventually, when you open your eyes, you're going to find that you still continue to notice. Awareness is aware, 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 is aware. And you stop noticing so much the objects in the world and people and places. You start to become more absorbed into pure consciousness. So that's a lot of interesting stuff we just covered. I hope you enjoyed this video. Definitely subscribe if you have not already, and subscribe for more amazing and really cool videos on enlightenment and awakening and how to easily awaken into higher consciousness. And I will see you in one of these videos or a different one, maybe on the side of the screen there, maybe over there actually, yeah. I'm high, naturally.